Welcome to Positive Filter with your host, Philip Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career with a little self-help around the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope that what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place. Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Philip Wilkerson back with another episode of Positive Filter. I'm joined by a special guest. As I said to you, everyone is a special guest to me because they took their time to talk to me. I'm joined by Travis Huff. Now, as you know me, I'm Ill Phil, Positive Filter, a.k.a. Austin, Texas on my leg, a.k.a. I'm the most random friend you'll ever meet, a.k.a. I just meet people for the first time on podcasts and we become friends. Those are my AKAs. But just for the listeners, go ahead and introduce yourself, Travis.
My name is Travis Huff, a.k.a. Too Tallin', folks. That's because I am too tall. I'm 6'8". I come with peace, positivity, and love like my boy Logic. And right now, I'm a papa. So they call me Big Papa in the house right now because I'm a dad. This is my first run at being a father.
Yes.
And I call it a Papa Entrepreneur. So I'm a.k.a. the Papa Entrepreneur.
I love that. I love your AKAs. One, and you said you were 6'8"?
6'8", sir, yes.
Oh, man. That's a whole foot above me. I guess we're the
It's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing and a curse. There's always good things about being tall and negatives. And part of my story is I went through many challenges. You know?
So let's give a so we were meeting for the first time on a podcast, which is great. My man Todd introduced us. Todd has been a good friend of mine, and anyone that he vouched for, I say they on the show. No ifs, ands, or buts. But for the listeners and for me as well, we were introduced to each other because you speak upon every person that's been on my show has had a positive outlook on life, just a good person, really happy. So bring us to me. We're meeting for the first time. Tell the listeners and myself what you do.
Yeah, so my name's Travis Huff, born and raised in a little town called Fresno, California. You might have heard of us, Fresno State. Now we got a few stars out there in the NBA and things like that, NFL. But a little town, central located, and always been an entrepreneur, always been in sales, always been in marketing. Since a young kid, always just had that drive and vision to start businesses, even though I didn't know I was making it happen.
Okay.
And truly, my journey now is after literally at a Starbucks. We were sitting at a Starbucks, my man, and I've been working at the Disney company, which is an amazing company, truly amazing company, for 4.5 years. From 2005, folks, to 2009. And if you know what happened in 2009, you know what I'm going to talk about. So in 2009, I started my business in a recession.
Oh, okay.
I started my business literally in a recession, as also seeing the huge opportunities, folks, for digital, social media, being able to track the results, being able to track the numbers, because I couldn't do that, Philip, on my TV commercials, on my Oprah commercial, on my Dancing with the Stars commercials. I couldn't tell the customer, hey, this is how many people went to the bathroom or skipped your ad or et cetera. And when I started seeing I could do that on digital, I said, oh, man, this is the eyes. So, hey, Philip, my man, okay. I'm sitting, and I truly believe this for everyone listening to the show, is your best ideas come from when you just listen, right?
Okay. So you listen to.
So I just listened to my boy Jason. We're sitting down at a coffee, Starbucks, and he goes, hey, people are going to need Facebook pages managed. And this is like probably November of 2008. Yeah, 2008.
Oh, yeah, that's early, man. I remember my first Facebook was very new, and only certain colleges got it first.
Absolutely.
And I was at Bowie State, and I remember my wife at JMU got it like a whole year early. Yep. And as soon as I got my, because they would verify your Facebook account by school email.
Yep.
As soon as I transferred to JMU and got my school email, I was so thirsty. The first thing I did was get a Facebook account. But then, do you remember what year they actually transitioned to the whole world? And everyone with email could get that.
I mean, that was a big difference. It was probably because it was 2005 exactly too when I graduated college, and I remember the same thing at Fresno State. You had to have the CSU Fresno email to get the Facebook account.
Yes.
Which was actually a brilliant way of them getting started. If you really think about it, they didn't go after everybody. They got the millennials started first, and then as you know, even with TikTok today, boom, the millennials are on it. Shit, TikTok is gonna be around for a long time probably.
Yeah.
Because they get hooked to that.
So jumping forward, you're in a recession. Facebook is still a little earlyish because
it's still early, but business
is 2009. You're listening to your friend. He's like, "Yo, wouldn't it be crazy about the Facebook getting using it for business?" So go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, so we're literally, Philip, just sitting there, and I'm just listening. I'm saying, dude, you're right. Like, I am going to run with this idea. He was in the commercial real estate business, and he still is in real estate, so he wasn't interested in going to this business, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And in hindsight, it's a hard business, Philip. It's not an easy business. Running a social media management company with hundreds of customers and clients and campaigns and this and that, there's lots of things that could go wrong, even if you have a great team, you know? And so it's just part of the nature of the beast. You know, one of your customers could do something wrong and get blown up on the media, and the next thing you know, you're dealing with that. Next thing you know, there's all positives and negatives, but the point is, I put together, Philip, a PowerPoint. And everybody on this show that can listen today, if you have an idea, if you're listening to the people around you, all you got to do is find a PowerPoint and start pitching. In most service businesses.
Talking about,
you know what I'm saying?
You made yourself a branding kit to say,
hey,
this is what I can do.
Yes. And I just started talking to my customers. Hey, folks, I had a crappy logo. I made a PowerPoint logo. It was not the logo or look and feel and things like that it is today. But I'm truly a believer of bootstrapping, meaning if you can't get your first check, then don't get funding. In some verticals, you got to get funding. Let's just be real. There's some things you got to get funding for, but most of them, probably 95% of them, you can go get a check. You can put a PowerPoint together, put a slide deck together, and get a check, get a PayPal, get a cash app, whatever you're getting, however you're getting paid. You can get that money first because
and say, hey, this is what I can offer. I'll do it for, I'll do it for a workshop. I'll do it for anyone.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll do it for one individual client. I'll do it for a whole group of people, office.
Yes. Right? Yes. And then also too, if you're just getting started too, go out and give some free work too, because I remember when we were doing it too, I was like, hey, I need to get testimonials. So I remember picking up a farmer's market customer that the page started going viral. And then I used that as my first testimonial to like, this is how I can do it. This is what it is. And then we picked up a home developer, Lennar Homes, which is a huge home developer. But I just picked up the Fresno, central location here. And then that was my first testimonial, Philip, of an actual physical customer. And now today I can tell you, this customer, go check out their pages and everything that is in a personal service business or a professional service business. I truly believe it's kind of based on like what work you're already doing. You know what I mean? Right, so it's like, you can't like say, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer if you've never been a lawyer. You know what I mean? Like people are not going to take you serious. Get your first customer, win a case, and then you can be on your second case. Then you can be, and so it's kind of the same. I think that a lot of people in the entrepreneur world want to get funding and want to get all this. And sometimes that's not the greatest idea. I mean, I've seen I have a really good friend, a few years later, sitting down at the same Starbucks. He started a business just like mine. But his business was just setting up the Facebook pages. So just getting him set up. I sell, you're a nonprofit. I charge you $1,000 or whatever it is. I get your page set up, and then it's on you, Philip, right?
Yeah.
He actually started scaling, folks. He actually started making money. He got partners, got venture capital, got too many people in his business, got a corrupt account manager or someone that writes the checks. And what do you think happened?
He got ripped off.
He got checks to his partner. The partners that were funding him got in cahoots with the account lady, and they were sending him all the money to the people that basically funded him. And so he was getting bled dry of all his money. Next thing you know, he wakes up. We can't pay anybody. We got to shut this thing down. Wait, this guy got all his money. This kid
that's a negative. That's a negative. That's a really scary thing. But
yes.
Kind of dialing it back, I want to go back to the beginning journey. Is that when you had this PowerPoint and you said, these are my skills. And a lot of new entrepreneurs are out there. And I've learned about this with my podcast. I learned about just at least shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. The worst they can do is just not look at it.
Right.
How did you make a strategic list of how you're going to approach people with this PowerPoint? And
absolutely.
Did you is this old school? Did you show up their door with this PowerPoint and a slide deck, or did you email them and make an email list? What was some strategies to say, yo, let me just show you what I can do?
Yes,
and
absolutely. You know what? I used my leverage of working at the TV station. And so I had a lot of customers and contacts. I was telling you earlier, some of our biggest customers are advertising agencies, public relation firms, digital marketing companies. They don't want to have the back end work. We do the work for them. They mark it up. It's pretty simple, folks. There's those kind of businesses out there. It helps us scale too, because we don't have to have a huge sales staff, and so they're kind of our sales force is these white label partners. That was the first. I mean, truly, some of the first conversations were the Lennar Homes and some of the first agencies that gave me a shot, and they're still doing business with me 10 years later.
And can I interrupt you real quick? What is, for the listeners and myself, because I'm pretty ignorant, what's white label?
So white label means that like we do the work, and then you can basically take credit for it, like as the agency. So Philip, if you had an agency, say that you had a car dealer,
okay,
Travis could do the work. and our team can do all the work for you, and then
Yeah.
you basically present it under your brand, and then
Uh,
all the reports come under your logo. You know, everything looks like it's branded from you, and
yeah.
it's a win-win because you don't have
Gotcha.
to you don't have to hire the staff to do it because it's a lot of work, and then the campaigns are better because we have the staff to make it look
and that's what you do. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's basically you get an outside consultant to do the work, but you get to claim it and own that work.
And most advertising businesses now have moved that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Since the recession, since the 2009, I mean, it's been like boom, boom, boom. But these people are downsizing their agencies because you can't afford to have 50, 100 people just sitting around if you don't have things going on. I mean, you can't just idea time is not. You can't build that to a customer.
Now, additionally, with that being said, you got your, like any entrepreneur, and I've noticed is like use your friends and family. If use your own networks first.
Sure.
But then how did you start branching out to strangers and people outside of your circle?
Right. I mean, it really started by building a website. I mean, I think that was the starting ground because we were early, like you talked about. So, we could get some organic traffic, and we were getting traffic, as well as also just shout out to Google advertising. Google Ads is just a great way of getting business. I still, with this new business we're starting with Reputation, instead of hiring a huge sales staff, I'd rather put it on Google Ads because I know that is going to guarantee me traffic. Like if you hire a salesperson, you don't know that they're going to bring in anything. I mean, there's no guarantee. Right. And even if they're in a commissioned sales, like most people want still something kind of hourly or something to do any work. Otherwise, they're just going to kind of just slacker off or whatever, And so Google Ads, Facebook ads, Instagram stories ads, whatever you can find, any kind of really relevant advertising to your customer, and a small amount of money. You don't have to place $1,000. You can do $3 to $5 a day. See what comes in. Do $10. See what comes in. And like we started testing with the Google Ads, and we started seeing, okay, cool. We just picked up a new dealership in Baltimore, Maryland. All of a sudden, they come to us, and shit. I have no idea who these people are. I meet Dylan Jones. He's a great guy. He's a general sales manager. Get him as a customer. Boom. Next week, you got another dealer that's in the across the state from us,
Gotcha. Yes.
So, I mean, I use literally just a website, and I still believe today, website, social media, right? Website, social, which are mostly free. I mean, Squarespace is $16 or $26 a month. One of my favorite platforms right now, folks. Is
you just made your own website. Now, did you?
Well, no, back then we didn't. We actually I had a partner. So I actually, I had a little money from Disney. So I took a little bit of money and built a website.
Built it. Okay. What was your platform then back then?
It was just built on like, whatever, the custom CSS.
Oh, wow.
And actually a story came out of that too, man. It's like one year, all of a sudden we weren't getting leads for a year. I reached out to the web developer, said, hey guys, what's going on? Oh shit. We're built on an old platform. It's going to cost you $10,000 to update. Sorry. Hey, guess this, Phil. Hey, we have 60 leads sitting here that you haven't followed up with it for last year.
They're holding it. They're holding your money. Now, what about, how did you learn some skills of computer stuff? Did you come?
I just went to squarespace.com and looked on YouTube, folks.
And taught yourself. I love that.
And even better than that, Fiverr.com. Right now, Fiverr.com, which is a great place to hire different, people that can do services. I use it for everything as much as possible, not on all levels. You can't do it for everything. On my social business, I can't do it at all. But on like podcast notes, podcast editing, we found a guy on Fiverr that will do it for like $100. He will build you a pretty dope Squarespace site for $100, folks.
So you found.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you're very resourceful in finding people, whether it's not my skill set particularly, I can find someone that does and have the ideas. I'm the idea man. I put people in the lane to succeed and just have, I'm not the best at websites. I got this dude. I'm not the best at podcast editing. I got this dude. Now, but what that does on the flip side, some people are not say micromanagers, but like you have a lot more control when you have the skills. So which one? This is another question. What times you realize, with like I say, a website or something, I need these skills for myself to rather outsource it, or this is in regards to me wasting my time, I need to outsource it. How do you make a determination, how do you make a determination of a skill that you need to know yourself, or just get someone that's better than you?
It's a tough question, Philip. I think the best entrepreneurs figure that out. And I don't know that I fully figured it out, to be transparent with you.
Exactly.
But I would say that I know that one thing, folks, it's like hiring a gardener or hiring someone, a professional service. Like they come over, they give you a great rate, they come in and do the work, and then they're out of there. And you don't have to work. And so it's kind of the same thing in your business. If there's things that are slowing you up from like a podcast editing, or if it's whatever it's got to do, especially with editing and things like that, that maybe we aren't the best at as creators. Find someone, pay them, become loyal with them, and all of a sudden they're making some money on you. They're living and they're breathing and they're surviving. But hey, now all of a sudden you have an hour more of time to do another podcast, to do something else you like to do. So I think that's the way to put it in your mind. And I've always tried to think of it that way. Like I said, I'm not perfect at it, dude. I mean, we are all trying to figure it out. Yeah. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur. I'm not an entrepreneur that wants to have 50,000 employees. You know, I see 50 to 100 and I'm cool. You know, as far as small team members. 50 to, you can still handle a lot of work, guys. You know, you can be very efficient. And I think as someone, I always talk about the bootstrap model with using people like contractors and things like that. Hey, it's a no-lose situation. Hey, you need a new logo? Test out 3 or 4 guys on there for $5 or $10 each. See which one comes back in. You'll see which designer's your best, and then say, I got a logo designer. Hey, you want to shit? I freaking had a client, and we don't do logos, but we had a customer say, hey, please, do you know anyone that does logos? I said, shit, I could find someone. Okay, cool. He went and said, hey, come up with some stuff. I charge him a very reasonable rate, right? But this logo is now a badass logo on a community that has like 150 houses, and it's the whole point is it doesn't have to be something that's from some high-end agency where they're going to charge $10,000 or $50,000 for a logo.
Yeah.
You know, and so
I like that.
Go to Fiverr, start testing out the marketplace, folks. I mean, the truth is that there's just no excuses at the end of the day.
I love that there's no excuses, but one of the things too is like I forced myself to learn new things because I want to have a little bit of,
absolutely.
I want to know the basics of Adobe Photoshop to say like, you know, I could tweak 1 or 2 things and send it to someone, they can fine tune it. But like, I want to know the basics, like podcast editing. I mean, I don't want to be a super sound engineer, but I at least want to know the basics of, you know, Audacity and all, just the basics.
100%.
And with website development, I don't want to be no coder. I want to know at least the basics of what HTML is.
Right. How to update your website. You know, do something simple like that. Like, because that's a huge thing. I hear people all the time, I can't update my website. My web guy's going to charge me like $200 to do it per hour. I'm like, dude. Yeah.
What's the one thing you can do by yourself?
I'm with you on that, dude. Like as much stuff as you can do on your own, do it and learn it. It's real simple, folks. You got 2 universities that are sitting on your mobile device. It's called Google.com and YouTube.com.
And if you're in higher ed, such as myself, we got LinkedIn Learning.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Certain schools are free. I don't know about other schools, but like I said, those instructional videos where you can teach yourself.
Absolutely. There's no excuses as far as that goes. As far as the learning goes, it's just a matter of your time. The most valuable resource we all have on earth right now is our time.
Right.
It's fleeting. There's an end point right now until we figure out life expectancy. It's already getting longer. We're living longer, but no one's living forever.
Right.
Even the greatest minds of today, Jeff Bezos, the richest guy on earth, he's probably trying to do everything he can to live longer, but there's going to be an exit day.
Right.
Which is real.
So get as much knowledge, stuff like that. Too.
Yeah. And then free up your time, folks. If you do start making some money with the things you just don't like to do, you know? And so I think that's the fine line, Philip, is if you don't like to do it and you're doing it, whether you're good at it or not, there's probably someone that can do it just as good as you.
Faster, or more efficient. Faster.
And then now all of a sudden if you have 5 people doing 5 different things for you, okay, say someone's making a slide share, say someone's making a blog for you, say someone's putting together the next PowerPoint show notes, say someone's editing the show notes. Dude, that's 5 hours of your time that you can focus on life, living your family, living life. For me, it's living my daughter. I love holding her. I love seeing her when she's taking a nap now, but she's going to be up at 11:30, 12.
I love it.
I'm going to be holding her, dude. You know, so it's those moments that you can't take back. And so I think that's the blessing of trying to figure out and using people, you know, it's not a,
I know. I said people are the greatest resource I've ever met in my entire life.
Oh yeah.
And I say, it's not a matter of fact of using people, but it's like, for me, I totally adhere to the point where I know there's people out in the world that are better than me in X, Y, and Z. Let me build connections and they can help me in that realm, but also let me walk in confidence and say, what can I do to help that person?
Oh yeah.
So I know that as a resource, I'm a resource to other people. So, so when you have that mindset that like, you know, use other people, well, I'll tell you right now, you can use me too. Like I can help. Sir. So what am I good at? I get, you know, outreach, talking, all that stuff. I'm not a behind the scenes person. Maybe I know someone that's better with money than me. blah, blah, blah. So it's finding the gaps in your life and almost like making your own dream team in life. You know, I believe in a dream team with different pockets. Like I'm a big proponent of mentorship.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Just find people that are better than me in certain things and ask them advice, the people better than me. But then also I'm in the middle. I have so many people under me.
Right.
My young mentees.
You're a mentor. You're a mentor to them.
Yeah. So, and they find gaps and I've learned stuff. Like I literally never knew what, before this podcast, I didn't have no clue what a white label thing is, but you taught me something new.
Yeah. And dude, there's so many services that are white labeled. I mean, it's just, everything you can think of for the most part. And I mean, you have to test it all out and see which one's legit. I mean, it's like anything. You can't just run with the first option and say, that's it. You know, I truly believe in testing a few options, just like if you're getting a few quotes for your house or something like that. You don't want to just get the first plumber to come by unless it's an emergency and you have to fix it. You want to get a couple quotes because you'll find, hey, one guy's 300, one guy's 1,500, one guy's, 375, but he's going to do this, this, and this. 375, done. You know what I mean? And so it's like kind of like that with business and with your money as a business owner, because, hey, if you don't make money, you'll go out of business.
Wow. That's like John Madden. That's like John Madden said, whoever scores the most points will win the game. Like what? Yeah. Okay.
Right. Exactly. There's no argument there. Or winning solves all problems. Like no one's arguing when they're winning on the football field, folks. Like, you can see that.
So what I'm saying is, with your business and all your ideas, it's very remote. Do you have an office? Like
we don't. I've taken
physical location.
No, we actually do have a physical location. Yes, but no one comes there. I swear.
What you mean, like a co-work space? One of those co-work
spaces?
No,
our own physical location where we do get checks and I come in and do some things. I take advantage of having a home-based office first off for tax benefits as well, for your own personal tax benefits. There's many benefits for that. And when I started the business 10 years ago, that was a big thing. I mean, we can afford an office, dude. There's no doubt we can afford an office space. But the problem was that we started asking the team members and saying, do you want to come in the office? Like, how do you like this, how it is? And most of our team members prefer it how it is. And so we just realized, why complicate it? Why overcomplicate the wheel and make them now come into the office and track them? So folks, I'm in the most unbelievable. I have to build the most trust in the world with my team because I don't know if they're working or not. Like I do, but I don't. Like the only way that I know is that the work is getting done, but how they get it done, they could be in their PJs, they could be watching TV, they could be watching their kids. As long as the work's getting done, it's getting done. And so it's a very trust. A lot of people don't give their people that trust.
I mean, mind you, trust. I love that job, but I'm also people oriented. I'd be lonely. So how do y'all get together? How do y'all build cohesion or teamwork?
100%.
Sometimes, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I don't like meetings. Meetings are terrible, but I love seeing my coworkers. I'm really
100%.
I like this interaction. So how do you get that part?
I usually do it coffees, lunch. They can come to the office as well. Zoom. We do all sorts of different things. A variety. How I get it is just try to keep myself out there as much as possible. Hanging out with your buddies, your own college buddies. Make it a priority to be around the people that you love, and then also with your customer too. Is get in front of them as well. So most of my customers, I go to their office because that's just kind of the nature of the advertising business. Even when I worked at Disney, no one came to my office at Disney. Like at ABC television, I was always driving to them. No one was coming into the TV station. Only maybe one or two over the 5 years or 4.5 years I was working there. So you make sure you just incorporate activities, get out the house, or build teamwork. Or do you have regularly scheduled virtual meetings with your team just to check in with each other all the time? Nope. No regular schedule,
and not regular schedule, but I meant like just not to police people, but just to say, okay, I have something to look forward to once a week to see people.
Absolutely, email's the main transparent email and text. Unfortunately, we're in that world today. Now that I'm a dad, obviously the time's limited. I have my own podcast. I'm going on podcasts. I got a life. I got a new business I'm doing. Try to keep the wife happy. Everything. So you have to kind of just say what's most important to you. Right? Like you can't do everything. You can't conquer all journeys. Like shit, I was a musician. That's why Too Tallin'. That's my music name. If you look it up, there's some viral videos out there. We got some stuff out there. Yeah.
The point is did you play ball?
I didn't play ball. I played ball after high school because I grew about 8 inches after high school.
After.
Yes. And so they always recruited me and stuff. And so I played baseball because that was my main sport. But then after I just sprouted up. So I did play all the intramural leagues. I played all the rec leagues and real competitive, at those colleges. I'm sure you know that the rec leagues there can be pretty dang competitive too.
Like AAU and stuff, yeah. So
yeah, and then also playing after too, just in some men's leagues, which those guys are competitive too, because a lot of them are college players that didn't make it to the pros.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
They still got that itch, and so you get some real interesting games out there. But you know what, man? The blessing now is that you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah, so you schedule your own time.
Schedule your own time. You can do whatever you want. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the biggest blessing about being a lifestyle entrepreneur. Philip, I believe there's 3 different types of entrepreneurs. Okay. I believe that there's this. There's the entrepreneur that wants to build the hugest business that's like the Zuckerberg, the Bezos, the Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And they do it. The Elon Musk. They just freaking do it. There's the entrepreneur in the middle that just like wants to build maybe a huge cause related brand or something based on like the community, and like they don't necessarily looking at it for money necessarily. Maybe they do make money because it works out, but maybe more it's just for the cause, the passion. The goal is to give a lot of it back. And there's the last one, which I think most people are in, and that's a lifestyle entrepreneur. You value your time, you understand your hustle, you understand your skill set, and you make money.
You only want it to be a job, and you see a lifestyle as in within that work-life balance. Like you want to be a father, you want to have time to be a father and a husband and all that, but also make money. So you made it work. You made your own job schedule per se. You made your own check-in and check-out. But the part with entrepreneurship is you only get as much money back as you put in.
Sure.
So some of I have really good real estate friends. They're going to they get as much money as how many houses they sell.
Right.
How many houses they sell is based on how many they do open house, whatever techniques they got, but they know at the end of the day, they get what they put in.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'll say they get what they put in regardless of the market. Because if the market's a certain place, then they might not have to work harder.
Right. Right now the real estate market's tough, man. People got to work a little harder. I got a lot of friends in real estate customers, Houses aren't moving quite as fast. They're still moving, but they're not moving quite as fast. Plus you got Redfin and Purple Bricks, and you got all these people doing flat fee rates. I mean, I think real estate, if you were in real estate right now only, I think you also want to figure out another hustle. Yeah. I think because doing $3,500 gigs, they used to make 20 grand a kick. Now imagine only making 3,500 a kick. Yeah. Now you're gonna have to do 7 times more deals just to make the same you were making. So it's not a bad business. I think it's still a great business, but you might need to learn another skill, have another podcast, start something, do something to help people, provide value, coach, do something as well along with the real estate because money might dry up a little bit.
One of my good friends, he's been on the podcast as a small business entrepreneur. He's in that pocket where he not only is a real estate agent, my man Sam Hardman, but he also he owns or franchises a CrossFit gym. CrossFit gym. There you go. So he's got two. There you go. He's got 2 steady sources of income.
100%.
That also, as they said with yours, is he puts in what he gets in. So for CrossFit, it's how many hours they're open, how many clients they got for the gym, and how many houses he sells. Right. And as much work as he put in is as much he gets to use. Oh, 100%. But he's like you to the lifestyle one. He's had multiple jobs. He's had different things, but this one worked out where he's a very involved father. He gets to take it. When he did it early on, he was able to take his kids to school and stuff. Yeah. So that was his primary. His primary was his parenting. Yep. And how can I fit my lifestyle and not be broke?
100%.
So he's one of my good friends. He's a good example that I've watched.
Absolutely, Philip. It's out there for everybody. Yeah. It's out there for everybody. Yeah. Everyone could be a lifestyle entrepreneur. Even if you're hustling on the side, you don't need to just quit your job. You could start things and get it going and just see what comes from it. You know what I mean? So it's like, and the biggest thing now is like, there's just every kind of business possible out there you could do. There's literally like unlimited things you could do. It's not even
I have not a jaded question, but a very interesting. Do you think the entrepreneurship bubble is going to burst? Like so many people are going to do this that no one goes to the office. Or flip side, how much money can we say, there's money for everyone. Let's all get it. But then we need people in structured organizations like schools and
I still think the entrepreneurship is only for certain types of people. You know what I mean? Like there's certain people, like even like my wife or other people that like to show up at a certain time, get their check, and they get paid very well. Like shit, my wife makes almost more than me probably at the end of the day on paper because, as a business owner, you pay your team and you're doing other stuff. But one is she's a psychologist, a doctor, So
that's like my wife. My wife is a school social worker.
So you know what's up. Like, and the truth is, power to that for one, as a man, having a power partner for one, but Secondly, there's people that just like that. They don't want to have
Structure.
when the 5's done, they check out, they're done.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, folks, for the last 10 years, almost coming up on 11 years in June, actually, I've been working every single day. Think about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, like even on Sunday, if you answer emails, whatever, that's work. That's work.
Every day. Well, social media, it's going every day. So even beyond just answering emails, folks, and all that shit, which is just the kind of the grunt part of the business, sending out invoices, sending out reports, doing those main little kind of things. That
you're doing actual social media campaigns.
You're doing actually work. You're actually doing and making sure that people aren't messing up too, because I'm kind of in the overseer role. I'm the quarterback. I'm the coach of the team. You're pointing out the team members and you're looking at their work and you're saying, hey, great job here. Hey, this could be a little bit better. Hey, check out this design. I think we could do this. And that's kind of how I look at it as obviously the general manager, if you want to call it, or the coach really is what you are as the owner. And you don't want to micromanage those people, because actually, to be honest with you, when I took my hat off and said, I'm going to stop micromanaging people and I'm going to let them work, it's gotten a lot better. It's gotten better,
So that leadership style is better when you get more trust. But with that being said, you have to time block one, and then also protect. I've learned over time with that, there is no check in, check out. You have on your own, you have to be more proactive about protecting your time.
Right. Absolutely. And I always just call it like my power hours, man. So when I sit down to work, I don't play games, folks. I just work. You know what I mean? And so I use those hours as power hours, I call them, because when I'm actually working on the weekends, I work on holidays, even Christmas, I'll be working, things like that. But I call it a power hour because I just focus all my time and energy. And the work that's actually happening is hours and hours of work, because I got team members doing all sorts of different things. So I'm not doing all the physical work, but I have to check up that they're not messing up. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And so that's the main thing, is it's not necessarily that I'm going to actually do a lot of this work, but it's actually, hey, okay, check on everything. Okay, cool. Things are looking good today. The work day might be 1 hour that day. You know what I mean? On a Sunday or even on Christmas, but I call it my power hour, and I also could be on a beach in Hawaii because I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur. With that power hour. So I've spent a lot of time traveling over the 10 years. I've spent a lot of time, enjoying life and not necessarily being tied to, I got to be at the office to watch these people to make sure they get the work done, because I wouldn't be able to travel. I wouldn't be able to do my podcast. I wouldn't be able to be a dad with my daughter all the time if I had that business model for me. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I love that.
And everyone's different, dude. You know what I mean? So there's
everyone is different.
Yeah. It's the key thing is knowing which kind of entrepreneur you are, because
Now, with that being said, time blocking, being stuff. One of the things I also noticed is with very hierarchical systems, like not real jobs. Your job is super real. The realest of the real.
Of course.
But let's say you're a school teacher. You can look up and say, as a school teacher, I can move up and be the head teacher. From the head teacher, I could be assistant principal. From the assistant principal, I could one day be the principal. Right. You got a hierarchy, but there's no technically in entrepreneurship, you just level up by, like you just said, like we're small, 5 to 10 people, 20, whatever. But how do you measure yourself if you don't have not like a very clear cut person above you?
Sure.
Like, I know if I was in a structured career, I could look at a job title and say, this job title will elevate me if I get that job. I'll be a director or whatever.
Absolutely.
But how do you frame that mindset of continually growing and chasing something if you don't have like a boss above you? How do you do that as an entrepreneur?
It's crazy, dude. That's the hardest part for most people, is because they are the boss. You're as top as you're going to get.
Yes.
The only way that you get more is you get more work, because then the business grows, and then you have a team, and then that creates, like, Jeff Bezos is a icon. Elon Musk is an icon. You know what I mean? Think about those people. They're entrepreneurs. They've always had the same title, but their businesses have grown so much.
Yeah.
So many people counting on them. Shit, I'm going to be getting packages today from Amazon. The whole point is that there's more people counting on them. So then their entrepreneurship title kind of becomes bigger.
More leadership and stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, it's not a pissing race to anybody. You know what I mean? Like, you had to figure out what's happy to you. You know what I mean? Because there's always going to be someone, I always think about this all the time, that's more ripped, better looking, got more money, got a better car, got a better girl, got a better kid, it's always good. But the way I always reframe it is this, especially folks talking about positivity, especially right now, because we're coming up on the new year and getting our bodies right, things like that. And we could talk about my journey with that if you want, but say this, Philip, hey, they look good, and so do I. Hey, Jeff Bezos, he's an awesome entrepreneur, and so is T. Huff, and so is Philip. So is my man Philip. Tony Robbins is an awesome coach, and so is my man Philip. And that's the way to tell yourself, because there's going to be always someone above you. But that doesn't mean that Philip's not Tony Robbins in 3 or 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. Tony's been working for a while, folks. I mean, he's not.
You don't know the journey. You don't know how far they've done it. You know how much work they put into it.
Yeah, absolutely. David Meltzer always says you're an overnight success, but it's been 10 years. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. It's like, oh, finally, okay.
I use it to fuel me as in, like, if someone is more ripped, right? Let's say, I say, bro, you ripped, man. I give them compliments and shout them out. But then I ask them, like, how'd you get ripped? Like, and then they say, do this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try some of that because I don't want to eat salad and quinoa every day. So I asked two people. I asked another dude with abs too. How did you do it? And find which way works for me.
That's awesome.
And same thing with businesses, like asking questions of businesses. You know, like, hey man, you're a CEO. You got 50 players. I got one. I'm a business of one.
Right.
But you got 50. How'd you get to 50? I did this, but it took me years. Bro.
Right. And usually it is took me years. I mean, usually even your buddies that have the ripped abs, it's usually like, oh, I didn't just get abs overnight. Most of them, they've been there for 6, 5, 10 years. Shit, half the time I go to the gym and I went this morning, it's the same people there, folks. At 5 a.m. at the 5 a.m. club, it's the same folks there every single day. It's not the New Year's resolution people that are still there right now. But when, in February or March, you'll see it'll be the same folks there. And they got ripped bodies because they are there every day. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about my journey, man, just to want to know. I've had 3 major challenges in my life where I changed my mindset and got more positive vibes and life because of that. First is body. When I was 17 years old, this is not too long. Shit, this is 20-something years ago. 17 years old, I was clinically obese. I was 6 foot, around 6 foot, 300 pounds. Right. Okay. And I played baseball. So on baseball, you can kind of have a bigger body. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Were you a pitcher?
I was a pitcher and first base. You know what I mean? So you kind of have a little bit bigger body. But transparently, folks, it was all diet. It was Taco Bell, McDonald's, sodas, things like that, as well as lack of activity and lifestyle. And so I started taking control of my life. When I started taking control of my life and the things I put in my body, my life changed. I started, my body changed. I started getting taller. All of a sudden, I was 8 inches taller. All of a sudden, I felt confident to talk to people and felt like I could public speak. And I started pushing myself to do things, even though I'm scared of it. Shit, half the time I am scared when I'm going to come into something, but I still do it, And so when you are in control of your body, and folks, it's been 23 years since then. I went to the gym this morning. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not perfect, dude. I got stretch marks on my body that are huge on my stomach because my stomach was that big. And so my body will never have the ripped abs, Philip, that your buddy does. I have better abs than I did 5, 10, 20 years ago.
I like the part where you said, I like particularly what you said is, I may not have the ripped abs, but I individually, my body is better than what it is.
It's insane.
So you're focusing on yourself. Like, well, I ain't worried about this dude, this. I'm better. I'm individually better, and I'm more happy, and I'm more confident in my health.
And if I had taken the same approach and stopped and didn't stop drinking soda and French fries and McDonald's and all the things that we love to eat, which are still great, whatever, in moderation and once a month, whenever, it makes sense for you. The point is that I was out of control, and I would look completely different. You wouldn't even recognize me, dude. Right now, 23 years later of me living that lifestyle, I would be 500 pounds. I wouldn't be on this podcast. I'd probably be in my room eating right now. Right. So the point is that I always look at myself as I'm the best person I can be today. And I can always be better, but I'm the best I could be today. My second challenge, folks, was when we talked about in 2009. I was 27 years old. This is my second big challenge. I got into a marriage young. It didn't work out. I bought a house, the golden dream, right? I bought a house. Guess when you think I freaking bought a house, folks? It closed on January 2nd of 2009. I bought a house. I bought a house that was $400,000 that basically was worth $180 at some point. A few years later, I started a business during the recession, right? And you know what? Part of it was a little bit down, transparently, you're going to have some down moments. And I kept telling myself, what are you going to do to get through this? And transparently, it was, you need to get control of your own personal finances. Because as a business owner, your own personal finances can affect your business.
Oh,
you know
that's
what I mean?
true.
Absolutely. It can, dude. I mean, if you can like be in control of your own personal finances and be like, I'm good personally, then your business will thrive because the business doesn't need the money. You have the money to pay.
Right.
So transparently, Philip, I was spending too much time after being in divorce at the clubs, turning up, having fun, spending $100 a night. Also eating out, folks.
So
Right?
we reverted back to some negative habits.
I reverted back. But and it wasn't even bad food though. I wasn't eating fast food. I was still eating good food.
But it was money. Yeah.
Money. Starbucks, all these little things. I started looking at my bills and started saying, this is the easiest way to do it. Just where are you spending your money? Okay, cool. Learn to meal prep, folks. It costs you $5 to $10. Make a couple tacos. Make some, we made it last night, a turkey meal prep. I haven't stopped. I have not stopped in since what was that? That was 2009. So that's 11 years is coming up on. You know what I mean? And that was my second challenge, folks, because in that journey of it being down, a lot of different things, I had to short sell my house. I had to realize that, hey, shit, I got to get out of this bad deal, man. This isn't cool. I'm paying double my mortgage for a house that's worth, $1,000. I'm paying $2,000 or $3,000. It was insane. You know what I mean? And so, and sometimes you have to take those things in the face, dude. Look at your life, see what's better, because it changed my life. When I started feeling, dude, it took some major L's. And I remember walking many times and saying, how the hell am I going to get out of this thing? And I put it back on myself, Philip. I said it's on you. Look at your life. Look what you're doing. Look where you're spending your time. You're not a musician. You're not an artist. I cut back the music a little bit. Spend less time doing music, more time doing social media management for customers. Spend more time trying to find customers, trying to talk to people, speaking gigs, just do whatever you can to get out there. And then lastly, folks, my third challenge right now is a baby. If anyone knows having a baby, let alone lack of sleep and things like that come for your first year, as well as also lastly, not even knowing what to do. I mean, it's like, dude, you don't even necessarily know what to do. I mean, you kind of do as you become, You'll figure it out.
You figure it out.
You do figure it out.
Hey, man, you got it. I could, let me say this right now. I met you for the first time. I'm going to tell that you're a great dad.
Thank you, brother.
I can say that flat out. I can say that with 100% confidence, because one of the things that came up to me in this conversation is that you particularly said, I like my lifetime entrepreneurship, not to make more money. I like it because it gives me the flexibility to spend time with my daughter. You specifically said that on this podcast. And because you said that on this podcast, I already know that if all else fails, you're going to be around. I tell my friends when they're going to be new parents that half the battle is saying, I want to actively be present.
Absolutely, because the shit goes by like that. It goes like, boom, all of a sudden she's coming up on 1 year. It's like,
but just the fact that you want to do, that you build a relationship. I realized for me and my kids, I used to be super nervous. I was like, yo, how am I be a good dad like my dad and all this stuff and measure up to it? And I realized over time, I have two kids. I have a 1-year-old and a 4.5-year-old. Oh, nice. I realized that everyone thinks I'm a great dad. And then, I'm taking on that identity of what a great dad is. Because frankly, I just spend time with my kids. I just do stuff. Like my wife would say, I need a break. Take the kids out. Got you. And I've been so focusedly involved that I met a lot of dads that are like, yo, I didn't change the first diaper until 3 months. I was like, what? Like stuff like that, like very basic stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I was already out the house. I was already by 3 months, I was wearing my child. I used to, everything. Yes. I know the little wear things. Yes. I loved them. I was out there. I was getting it in. So I could tell on the break, just the fact that you said I want to allocate time in my life to parenting, you're already exponentially better than half the dads out in the world.
I try, man.
Because that's all it is just trying that part. And then you're gonna figure out how to teach life lessons and be organized and be not. You're still gonna make mistakes. You're not perfect. Your kid's gonna pick up on your bad habits, all that stuff. But it is. But at the same time, organically, they're gonna know. Okay, my kids when they stub their toe or whatever, they know they can come to me just as much as their mom. I give them the hugs and kisses. They know that I'm involved just as much.
Absolutely. And like you said, I think it's just being present. Knowing that your presence is everything. I remember reading something or listening to something that said, your job is not to mold your kid into who you want them to be. It's to watch them be who they want to be.
Yeah. But what happens is and this is the weird part with that. I totally believe in that.
Right.
But usually the people that they want to be is parts of you.
Little pump and shit, or they're trying to be someone completely opposite too. But I like what you said though. That's true.
They're gonna organically
want to be like you because they see your dad.
Or want to be like you, or just what's going to happen is they're going to. They're going to. Like I literally catch myself with the same mannerisms as my father.
Ah, yes.
Organically.
Right.
Organically. So what does that say about parenting? Make sure that you create the positive stuff. I mean, they're gonna pick up on your negative thing. Chew your nails, they'll chew your nails. Whatever habits. But if they see hugs and kisses, words of affirmation.
Yes.
They naturally start doing it without you asking them to. Now my son, if I do something good on Pokemon, we play Pokemon together.
Nice. That's awesome.
He'll say, "Good job, Daddy. I like that." I'm like, I didn't teach him how to make compliments.
Right.
He learned how to do that on his own.
Right.
So,
which is the blessing of it too, watching them kind of grow up, right? Like,
yeah.
The interesting thing is that there's just no right or wrong way, but there is a wrong way.
No,
there's a wrong way.
Sorry, bro. There's a real wrong way too.
But there's like so many different advices and so many different articles and things. So I think it's like my buddy told me too. He said you got to raise them how you would like to raise them. You know, it's like it's your say at the end on everything as far as being the parent. You know, and so I think you as well. Shout out to you, my man, because you know it's such a blessing to be a dad. I mean, it's just,
and I say like
the best blessing ever.
I think it's like that entrepreneurship, and I think that's why it's equals. Is that my kids will get what I put in.
Right.
The little human beings that they become is how much involvement I do. So the influence I have, if I'm never around, then I can't complain when they're having behaviors, right? Because I wasn't actively involved in the parenting. So just as much as entrepreneurship, which I think you appreciate, is the time you put in for your entrepreneurship is the same with your parenting. Like as much time as you put in as a parent, it's going to yield whatever.
Tenfold.
Whether negative or positive, it's going to yield the time you put involved. So if you the time you put involved with your kids is active, positive, engaged, and good, then hopefully it yields more. You know, they're still going to have issues at school or get in trouble with teachers or whatever, but then you know that behaviors are less curved when you're involved. You can also be proactive. You can get involved with the teacher and say, "Yo, what's my kid doing? Let me try it. What are you trying in the classroom? Let me try some of those ideas like behavior charts or whatever. Let me try some of that at home. We'll work as a team, you know, whatever." But it's as much as you're involved. And my son is kind of already cursed with the feelings on it because he's got a dad that got a master's in counseling and a mom that got a master's in social work. So we already talk about hugs and angry and
that's amazing.
Daniel Tiger and all that stuff. So it is what you put in. It's what you
and get. It's because you guys have put in all the hard work too to get where you guys have been. You know what I mean? Like that's a big thing too. Oh, absolutely it is. Absolutely. Every day that you're doing your show, maybe you're taking a little tidbit from this and you're taking a little tidbit for your next guest. I know after doing 200 or so episodes of my show, I've learned a ton about people, how they, you know, they think, you know, is the most curious thing that I've always found is like how these people think, you know, some of them are doing it huge, some are doing it big, and some of them are doing it like small, but they own it. You know what I mean? And so it's not even about, there's no, like I said before, there's no pissing contest in this life. There's always going to be someone that's above. It's more about being happy where you are and knowing that you are better than you were yesterday and the day before and the month before and the week before and the year before, because we can all be better. You know, like we can all work to be better, to be more grateful. Dave Meltzer would say, to say thank you for life, to say thank you for the world. You know what I mean? To say thank you, because that's where it starts. If you are grateful for those things, like it doesn't really matter how big your business is. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, if you're just grateful and happy that you're doing a big business. Now, some entrepreneurs have the vision and they want to be that and they put in the grind. They don't spend time with their kids, Philip. Their kids are being babysit by nannies their whole lives, you know, and that's nothing wrong, but they've got huge businesses. You know what I mean? So
it's a cost. It's a cost.
It's a cost.
Anyway, and like I said, there's no shade to that either. But that's
absolutely.
When I see that on paper, if someone wants to make more money and they do it that way, no shade to them. That's their values. I can't even get mad at you, but that's also not mine. So I don't. That's why that rat race comparison is not helpful. Because it's like I don't have the same measuring stick, and I don't need I don't measure a good life based on their criteria, as I would hope that they don't measure a good life based on my criteria.
On yours, exactly. Yeah. And that's a blessing too, is just knowing where your lane is, knowing where you want to go, you know? And then we talked about it many, many times, putting in the work, folks, whatever it is in your personal life, in your finances, in your cooking, in saving money, in getting anything you want done in this world. It's just, hey, what do I got to do to work here? You know, because we all got the same time in the day. You know, we all have that same time. It's what are we doing with it? What are you doing with it? And hey, the TV ain't in control of you. Hey, your phone ain't in control of you. Turn it on, do not disturb. Turn the damn thing off on airplane mode. You are in control of your phone. You are in control of your email. You are in control how much time you spend doing anything. If you want to Netflix and binge all day, and then wonder why you didn't get your podcast done today. Someone that wanted to start a podcast. There's a lot of people that want to start things, but then they like spend all day listening to other people's shit. It's like, just take today and start doing you. That's my biggest statement. I always tell the kids in college and high school whenever I talk to them, I said, hey, you know what? There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of things, a lot of ideas, but what's going to matter at the end of the day is just doing you, because the more you do you, the more you can do for others. Yeah. The more you work on yourself, the better you can be as a dad, because you own the fact that you want to spend time with your children, and you own that, and you don't feel guilty about it. You don't say, oh, that's causing my business to slow down. No, I want this. Yeah. I want this time. You know what I mean? And so, because I think if you don't think that way, then you get caught up in the rat race, right? I mean, it's so true. Like, I think you get caught up in like what other people are doing, and it's like, none of that shit matters.
All right, so I think that's great. You dropping mad gems. I think I might have to have you on the podcast again.
Let's do it.
So this is my last part of the show called Shot for Shot.
Yes,
Shot for Shot means you get to ask me. It's almost like Truth or Dare, but there's no dare. Okay. You get to ask me any random question you want to know, and I get to ask you any random question not really related to this topic, which I think now I'm gonna call this title of this episode "Lifestyle Entrepreneur," because you talked about a lot of good stuff. So you want to go first? I'll go first.
You go first. Let's do this. I'm gonna feel the vibe, and let's get this thing going.
All right. So you're out in Cali, right? And you're living a remote life. Yep. Tell me, or the listeners, some cool places that your business has taken you outside of your home to visit that you never thought of before doing your business. Some cool places across the world, or the United States, or where?
Absolutely. Miami, Honolulu, Hawaii, San Diego, San Francisco, folks. If you haven't been to San Francisco, the Bay Area, a lot of customers up in the Bay Area. Lastly, Italy. If you've ever been to Italy, one of the coolest places in the world. Not too many more places outside of that. We do a lot of business in California. So there's Monterey, Pismo Beach, you know, a lot of different little good gyms here in Cali, as well as not too long, actually about a 45-minute drive. We have one of the 7th wonders of the world, Yosemite, folks, where you can go check out some of the most amazing agriculture, if you want to call it, or nature that exists on Earth, because there's more and more things not being protected, you know, as far as our you know, parks, national parks and things. And shoot, if you've been watching the news, you have places like Australia where their national parks are being destroyed, you know. It's so sad, you know. So I always find that those are the hidden gems. I mean, obviously,
what was your favorite place so far?
My favorite place has been Vegas. My favorite place.
You like Vegas?
There's too many things to do in Vegas. I mean,
hate Vegas.
You hate Vegas?
Well, you want to know why? Want to know why I hate Vegas?
Why?
Because I'm an extrovert. Sure. I love people.
Sure, absolutely.
Get me out there. But that jump was stimulus overload. I feel like there was too many colors and lights. Even I, as an extrovert, was like, this is too much for me. I went there for a convention, and I went back and hid in the Airbnb. I was like, man, how does a place like for instance, like me, how did this show even overwhelm me? I was like, oh my goodness, get me out of here.
And it will.
It has access. It has everything you want. Everything you want. Like food. So it was overwhelming.
So many cool. I met so many cool different people, like at different events and stuff out there, because obviously it's a huge convention and things. As well as me and my wife have loved the DJ scene for many years. So we've gone to all the different Calvin Harris's and all these crazy club events. Yeah. Now we can't do that as much. So we got that out of our system. I think that was a fun era of life. You know, at the end of the day, you know, the best part is you can just do whatever you want. You know,
you like Vegas, so Vegas is your spot.
It's one of our favorites just because of the options. If I could choose anywhere, it'd be Honolulu, Hawaii.
Oh,
Honolulu,
that's dope.
Hawaii.
Okay.
I love Hawaii. One of my favorite places is Hawaii. It's a 4, maybe 5-hour plane ride from the Cali area.
Oh, it's not bad. I love that.
And there's just nothing like Hawaii because everyone's on their own time. They call it Hawaii time. It's like
I love that.
Everyone's going slow. No one's worrying about their damn phones. No one's, you know, in a rush, running each other off the damn road. You know, nowadays, if you drive around, people are freaking running each other off the roads these days. So it's just a nice vibe, you know.
Is that goals? I mean, now that you're an entrepreneur, you can do what you want. Have you ever thought about trying to move to Hawaii?
No, I love living in Fresno. I love because you have a family here, you know. And so you don't know how long your family's going to be around. We have my wife's family, my family. Yeah, if something changed there. I would envision living on like La Jolla, which is a beautiful area down in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
Unbelievable area. I mean, if you go check lajolla.com or look it on Google, it's just like these houses are insane. So that would be a dream. But you know what? I love Fresno. You know, it gives us the ability to go anywhere. You know,
I love that.
So how about you, my man? If you were, question to you is, if you were today to bring anyone in the world to have dinner with you, on a plane. They're coming to you.
Oh, they're coming to me on the plane.
Yeah, they're coming to you. Who would you want to come have dinner with you today? Anyone in the world?
Like right now, because it changes like week to week. But right now,
Yeah, right now,
at this very moment,
this moment, yes.
the Dalai Lama.
Wow. Okay, I love that.
Well, I mean, that's crazy because
awesome.
I'm reading the what you call it. It's like, I think it's called The Art of Happiness in a Busy World.
Yes.
I'm not reading it. I'm listening to it on the audiobook.
Got you.
And I love the dude is a psychologist, East versus West, not verse, but East meets West. And that thought process of the Dalai Lama and Buddhism and how we think in the Western mind. And I love studying happiness and well-being and how you get into it, but also just like more like how can I get into that stuff with my Western mindset.
Western mindset, yes.
And from what I hear, the Dalai Lama, when I listening to the audiobook, he's funny.
He is. He is funny.
He's funny. He got a sense of humor. I'd probably learn something. He seems like he'd be real chill.
He'd be super chill.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be a cool dinner to meet with him and just eat.
I think your life would be changed to understand.
His life would be changed.
His life would be changed too. Hey, his life would be changed too. You just never know. The point
who is this guy?
Absolutely. Hey, he might come on your show one day. You never know, man.
No. But I like it'd be either Dalai Lama or just anyone that's their main focus is that attainment of happiness. Right. Any Lewis Howes,
yes,
Les Brown,
yes,
Coach the Preacher.
Those are all people. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, all these people I listen to with their motivational.
Absolutely.
But definitely on the list is Dalai Lama.
Because he's. I mean, that was like one of my first autographs. If you look at my background here, I got all these different autographs in my room.
You got the Dalai Lama?
Oh yeah, I got Dalai Lama. It's not up on the wall somewhere. It's got to be in one of my. I was trying to figure out where the hell is. Yeah, he actually responded to an email back in the day, folks. He had like an AOL, and he would, if you emailed him, he would actually send you an autograph, a personal autograph.
That's wonderful. That makes me love him more.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like now I'm in the Dalai Lama fan club.
Right. I need to get you his email address so we can get you an autograph.
I'll do it.
And maybe you can put, hey, I'd like to have you on the show too. You never know.
Maybe now.
You take those shots, like we talked about. You got to take those shots, right?
What's the worst case? He doesn't answer.
We said no. Yeah, right.
Okay. Still peace and love to you, Dalai Lama.
Peace and love, baby.
Okay. So the floor is yours. This is the end of the show.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I definitely have to have you again.
Thank you, sir.
I love it. I love entrepreneurship. I'm starting a small business myself. I'm learning every day, learning what I need to do in the little grind. Obviously, this is my side hustle because I like my 9 to 5.
Absolutely.
I definitely want to have something for myself. Shout outs and plugs. That means shout outs. Anyone you want to give a shout out to, wife, kids, family, anyone, partners, and then plugs. The plugs will be anything that you want the listeners to follow up with.
Absolutely.
At which point you'll send it to me in an email and I'll put it in the show notes so that they can follow up.
Well, yes. Shout out to number one, the queen, my wife. She's the beautiful woman that stole my heart, but also has given me the motivation to get through all these different challenges I've gone through. And now my little daughter, Layla, shout out to my little girl. She's definitely the fuel in the rocket ship, and I love those times with her, and she gives me that fuel to be a great dad. Obviously, all my friends and family, they've done nothing but support me. My buddy Jason, that gave me that great idea. Shoot, I want to give you a shout out, my man, for giving me a little time to introduce myself to your audience, as well as, for plugs, man. I mean, we got a couple cool things. Mm-hmm. We will give your audience today, if they go to this link, realtimeoutsource.com/bereal. So if you go to realtimeoutsource.com/bereal, we will give them a completely free social media audit. Meaning we'll put you in our software. Okay. We will check and track what people say about you for the next 30 days and then give you this report completely free. No gimmicks, no credit cards, completely way to give value. Obviously, we're grateful. I'm so grateful because I'm now going on podcasts after being a podcaster myself and having a show for many years now, coming up on season 6 of our show. And it's just a way of giving value, as well as we've actually seen some cool stuff come from it as far as business. We give to get. Obviously, let's just be real.
I'm going to have to use that myself. I'm going
to. Yeah, absolutely. Please do. Please do. Most of the podcast guests actually have, and they've got some really good insights as far as content that people are talking about, correlating hashtags, etc. It's about a 7 to 30 page report, depending on how many engagements you have on a monthly basis. And then lastly, folks, is if you want more positive reviews, this is my new business, and it's legit. and this is a completely free trial too, no credit card, anything. We will give you our software for free and give you a free trial. And I want you to get positive reviews. I'm doing this not because I have to, but obviously a way to get more customers is a way to give value. Hey, I will give you the software. If you don't like it and you don't think it does a great job of getting you reviews, then just I'll delete it. I'll just say no problem. Delete your account. If you like it, it's going to be a nominal fee per month, that you pay to manage your reviews. Anywhere from $50 to $100 depending on how many emails or addresses you have. But it's worth it, man. Every positive review will change your business. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. It's like, dude, a positive review can push the dial on your next customer. Period.
I love it. And this episode is going to come out in February because we're doing a podcast break.
Absolutely.
Will this come with like a code to use this? Or how does this work?
Okay, so just go to realtimereputation.us. That's realtimereputation.us, and fill out your name, business name, email, and we'll follow up with you, get you account access, and we'll also give you some ways to how to use the software, so you're not just left blindly with how to do it.
Perfect.
But honestly, folks, it's as easy as you upload a customer list, you send out the emails go out automatically, they drip out to your customers, and then the reviews keep coming in. If it's negative, you get to hear about it first. If it's positive, it goes on your website. It's unbelievable.
I love it.
It's one of the best things that ever happened to our business as a business owner, because my other business is a lot of work, folks. So this is an unbelievable business as far as making it easy to get more reviews for you, not having to spend the time and worry about it. But thank you so much, Philip. I really hope that you guys, folks, just do you today and this week. Realize that anything is in your power, and keep that positive filter alive, baby.
I love it. Well, thank you. This has been our great guest. He's going to have all those notes, all those things to follow with him. I'm definitely going to follow with him. And he's dropping deals. I'm about to take advantage of these deals myself.
Yes,
if you have any questions for the podcast, leave a comment at positivefilter.com or Positive Filter on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, all that stuff. And if you want to call and leave a voicemail, you can call 571-336-6560. That's 571-336-6560. We do Q&A episodes every now and then. We have people drop questions. I also shout out the people I ask questions. So if you leave a question, I say, I get this question from X, Y, and Z. It's a way to plug yourself. So definitely drop some questions. And thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening to Positive Filter, a podcast that focuses on family, friends, career, with a little self-help along the way. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your family and friends, and like the Facebook page, Spreading Positivity of Movement. Thanks for listening.